Hey guys, what's going on? I've got another video for you guys today. Today it is over Cassidy's robot arm and hand from Overwatch. This is the lifeguard skin. So yeah, let's get to the overview. Alright guys, let's go over this arm real quick. And I don't have an actual tutorial unfortunately, because this was I was kind of figuring it out as I was building it. So I'll start off with the fingers. The fingers are all glued onto a black glove. So they're all stationary and they all stay on the glove. The palm piece is separate. So it slips off like that. So you can see you still have full mobility on your fingers and everything. So with the fingertip pieces, if you'll notice, it's basically the same template as my Edward Elric mechanical arm template. So there's two pieces to the tip. So you've got this one flat piece, which goes on the bottom. Then you have a more curved piece with a dart cut out of the middle of it. So you'll glue that dart together, and that'll make it curved. And then your edge on the tip of the finger will be an inward angle cut, and then you'll just glue it edge to edge. And all of your fingertips are actually the same size. So you don't have to worry about figuring out which finger goes on which for that, since they are all the same size. Now for these other finger sections, they are numbered and lettered. So the tip is A, the middle is B, and the bottom part is C. And I also have the fingers numbered as 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So you've got 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A, 1B, 2B, 3C, 4C, so on. Now, the thumb only has A and B, because you don't have this piece right here that's covered. And then, so I just used some hot glue to glue the fingers onto the glove. Be careful because it is hot. Now I did have the glove on while I was gluing it on there. It does hurt, so you may double up on gloves whenever you're doing that to kind of help prevent the burn a little bit. And I just put glue like on these top parts here. There's one little drop right there, and that seems to be enough to hold it. And then some of these finger pieces, they will not all line up end to end. They're all the same size. So what you'll do is you'll actually have to fit it to your finger, then overlap it where it fits snug, but not too snug, because you still want to really get on and off. And then you'll just use some super glue and tack it together. And then when it comes time to take the glove off, I just grab the whole finger, trying not to pull on the armor specifically until I can get to the actual glove. Like that. So now for the palm piece, or the actual hand piece, there is a V-groove undercut on this part here to give it a nice bevel right there. Also this piece right here, you'll just do a V-groove cut right there, so that way you can get that nice distinction between the red and the black, and it's an easy line to follow. I also put a V-groove right here on this piece, just so it folds over easier. And as you can see, you can adjust this to fit your hand. It just folds over and goes underneath the palm part. There's also inward angle cuts on this piece right here, so it has a nice edge on each side. This bottom piece here on the palm, on the pattern, this whole piece is just cut out. So whenever you're tracing on the foam, just connect that line right there. And then you'll cut this piece out separately and then just offset it slightly. I'd say about 2 millimeters or so. You can kind of see right there how it's offset. And that gives it a nice detail line. Then onto the arm. There is no template for this square piece because I just used a 15mm square dowel for this. There's also no specific templates for these little pieces right here. You could, however, just use this 2mm piece because it's the same width. So you can just use this for the width and then measure around the square dowel for the correct length on it. And then for this inner piece right here, I just filled in that gap with some 2mm EVA foam. And then for this piece right here, again, there's no template for this because it is a half round EVA foam dowel. It is the biggest one that I could find. This is the actual size of it. I wrapped it with 2mm foam to make it bigger, and then additional 2mm foam here on the end and here. And then just glued it into place. And for this back piece that it sets on is more just 2mm EVA foam. And also this 2mm piece that sits on top, it is just half, so you will actually flip it right here to make it all one piece. And then I used elastic bands to attach it, just so that way you still maintain your full mobility with this. And it is a bit of a snug fit for the hand. So, and then whenever I go to take it off, you don't want to pull like too much right here because that is just glued on and you don't want it to pop off. So whenever you're taking it off, you'll start with the bicep piece here and you'll push it down until it's loose. Then you'll start here and push down. And like I said, it is a bit of a snug fit. If you wanted to add some Velcro right here as a closure, you could. And it just slips off. Something else you could do here is Dremel down this piece right here. This is the under forearm piece. This upper piece does just glue over it. So if you wanted to Dremel this down right here, that would help alleviate taking it on and off. Also on the under forearm piece here, there is an undercut right here, as well as right here. And this is just a straight undercut, which is where you just cut halfway through the foam, you open it up and you fill it with low temp hot glue, and it'll maintain that valley here on the right side of the foam. Now I'll move up to the bicep piece. So it is just one half, both halves are the same. There is a slight curvature on this line, so you will just cut two of them. And there is V-groove undercuts along the edge here on all sides to help get that square shape. And there's also no templates for these little black squares because I just freehanded those. It's just 2mm foam that I cut out and wrapped. It's just kind of wrapped here on the inside. Just wrapped on the edge and go up. It helps cover the seam, and it's also, a part of the actual armor as well. And for the little circles here, they are 3 layers of a 6mm EVA foam. So you've got 2 regular layers that are just circles, and then 1 top layer where you cut out the middle. And then what you'll do is, I cut mine at I beveled it here on the inside. You can do that with a Dremel, or you can do it with the cuts. What I did is I cut it that way, and then I smoothed it out with a Dremel. And then, of course, I silver base coated it after plastic dipping it. Oh, I forgot one thing. This little piece right here. So on the template, this says an inlay. So you'll cut it out as a whole, you'll trace out this piece, and then you'll cut out this piece, and then you'll offset it slightly. Now what I did before I glued it back in is I went around the edges with a Dremel and made it so it had a little more depth and dimension to it, just so it was more easily noticed. And also when I glued the elastic in, I covered the tips with some 2mm foam just to add some extra stability and a little extra comfort. Now back to the painting, I plastic dipped everything, and then I painted it all with a silver base coat. And then I used the Dupli-Color Metal Cast Red, which is also the same paint that I use for all my Red Hood helmets and emblems and things like that. It's just, to me, a perfect metallic red. And then to get the battle damage, let me back up here for a second. Before I went over it with the red, I painted all the black parts. I just hand painted those just because it was easier for me to do that rather than masking everything off and spraying it. Because whenever you go over the black with the red, it actually does not cover it. If anything, it gives it a nice gloss. So you'll have the same uniform gloss over everything. And then I went through and I hand painted all the white parts because they are a more flat white than anything else. And then I took a heavy grit sandpaper and I went over all the edges and just scraped off the paint. So that way it shows that silver base coat underneath. So it is actually real battle damage. It's something that you can feel and see. And just adds a little bit to the realism to the paint scraping off, because that's actually what happened to it. But yeah, that is, same process on this. I just hand painted the white around the perimeter here. But yeah, that's it for this one. I'm sorry there wasn't actually a tutorial on it. So it's just a good overview. And if you guys have any questions, just feel free to reach out so I can answer them to the best of my ability. All right, that's it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. And again, the templates will be available for this, and the link below will be available in my Etsy shop. If you guys have any questions on how to put this thing together or anything like that, just feel free to reach out to me on Instagram or Facebook, and I'll be happy to answer your questions. And remember, there are no mistakes in cosplay, only battle damage. You guys have a great one.